What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys a step-by-step guide on how to meal prep. Alright, so meal prepping. If you are trying to get in shape, if you're trying to burn off fat, if you're trying to build muscle, you have to understand that you need to stop eating out and you need to start some kind of meal prep. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to start eating 5, 6 of your own cooked meals every day and have them prepped and ready, but it does mean that you should probably start implementing at least 2 or 3 prepped meals throughout the day and just making healthier decisions all around. So what I want to do today is show you guys the basics, the step-by-steps, or the steps that I take when I am going to meal prep. And it doesn't matter if you have never meal prepped before, that's kind of the point of this video, and it doesn't matter if you have done it a million times. I just want to show you an easy way to go about it and an efficient way, and also a way to save money. A lot of people think that when you are meal prepping and you're starting a diet, you're going to be spending more money on food, and it is quite the opposite. You spend way more money if you go out to eat 1 or even multiple times a day versus just going to the grocery store, knowing what you're buying. And then even if you want to buy in bulk, you can buy your chicken in bulk, you can buy your vegetables in bulk. I'm going to get to the foods here in a second. But you can actually save a lot of money by just knowing what you get from the grocery store and only eating that throughout the week. So I'm going to go ahead and get into these steps. Have your foods ready. Now, you got to go grocery shopping, obviously, and I said I wanted to give you just basically the basic types of foods that you have to have no matter what you're trying to do, whether it's lose weight, put on muscle, no matter what. These are some of the basic foods that I believe everybody would be able to eat. Obviously, it's going to be in different portions, different amounts, and also if you have different preferences of foods, you can change it like to your preferences. But this is a good base, a good control group to go off of. I have my chicken right here, organic. I make sure that it says this little no added water in it. That just means that basically they're not making the chickens bigger by injecting them with stuff. I got the avocados, some healthy fats. I got my eggs back here. I'm not going to actually cook my eggs in today's video. I actually enjoy cooking my breakfast every single morning. I got my white rice. This is going to be more of a simple carb. This is going to be for more mornings and post workouts. This is going to be my sweet potatoes. This is going to be my basically carb that I eat the most throughout the day. It's going to be lower on the glycemic index. It's going to be more of a complex carb, slow digesting. It's going to give you that sustained energy throughout the day. I got my coconut oil. This is what I cook my chickens with. This is another healthy fat, great for you. Olive oil. I like to coat my sweet potatoes in it before I put them in the oven. Also another healthy fat. I got my seasonings. The main thing to do here is make sure that they are salt-free. Seasonings are very popular for having a lot of sodium, a lot of salt in them. So make sure that they say salt-free or have just very minimal sodium. I like to put these on my chicken before I cook them. And then last but not least, vegetables. Now, don't give me crap, but I don't like cooking vegetables. It's just, I'm totally a-okay with these microwave, that in-bag vegetables that you just throw in the microwave for like 5 minutes, and then it gives you 4 servings of vegetables. So you can do these, you can do the microwavable ones, or if you want to just go and get a bunch of different vegetables from your produce section at your local grocery store, that's fine too. I'm just showing you kind of the basics of what I do. So that's going to be step 1, is get your foods. Step 2 is going to be get your appliances ready. Now, when it comes to the appliances that you're picking, obviously the bigger the better. I got my pot here for the chicken. This is a very large pot, non-stick, just something that you can fit. The more chicken you can fit on it, the more protein that you can fit on it, obviously the shorter amount of time it's going to take you to prep that chicken. Then I got my other pot here, so I guess this is a pan. Then I got my other pot here for my rice. Obviously, the bigger, the more rice you can cook. And then I have 2 sheets, but these are just going to be for my potatoes. Also, then what you want to do with step 2 of getting your appliance ready is you also want to preheat your oven. You don't want to get everything ready and just be ready to cook, and then now you gotta wait 15-20 minutes to preheat your oven. So right now, as you get your appliances out, preheat your oven. If you're gonna be cooking potatoes, you wanna set it to 425 degrees and just press start and let that start heating up while you get everything else ready. So that's gonna be step number 2. All right, so step 3 is going to be prepping the potatoes. Now, when you are meal prepping, it's the best to stay as time efficient as possible. That way it doesn't suck so much doing it. So you want to start with whatever is going to take the longest to prepare, and that in this case is going to be my potatoes. These are going to take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. So I just got my pan right here. I'm going to take out my aluminum foil. I like you don't have to use aluminum foil. I like to, because then you don't have to clean this. So what I'm going to do now is, first off, I'm going to make sure that my potatoes are clean. You would definitely want to rinse these off with some water here. So after that, what I want to do is take out this olive oil. Now, the reason for this is if you don't have olive oil, you can just get some kind of non-spray or non-stick spray, and you can just spray the aluminum foil. That way the potatoes don't stick to the aluminum foil. You don't want that happening. But what I like to do is just go a little bit right there, and then lather that up. Now I want to make sure that I am poking holes in the potatoes. You don't want them to blow up in your oven. You can use a fork for these, or you can use a knife. Just a couple holes throughout, just so it can breathe as it cooks. And be careful here, guys, don't stab your hands. Okay, so after you have your potatoes, they have them lathered up in a little bit of olive oil so they don't stick. Have the aluminum foil down so you don't have to cook this pan, and you got holes in them so that they don't blow up in your oven, and you have your oven preheated to 425. You're going to go ahead and place these in the oven. All right, once you got your potatoes in the oven, don't forget to set your timer. If you have some other timer that you want to use, you can do that. I just like using my microwave because it's easy. But if you want to be on the safe side here, these are probably going to end up being in your oven for probably 50 to 60 minutes. So I like to stay on the lower side of that and even go a little bit under it, 45 minutes. That way you are not even going to have a chance of you overcooking them and drying them out. So we're gonna go timer 45 minutes, start. All right, so protein time. And me personally, I'm not some guy who needs a bunch of variety in my meal plan. I don't need beef and ground turkey and tilapia and chicken and all these different types of proteins. Personally, I'm okay with eggs as my breakfast and then chicken as pretty much every other meal. And that just is what I'm okay with. Not saying you have to be. This is just, I'm showing you the basics basically here. Now, I do want to give you a quick tip though. If you guys, I'm going to be cutting, so when it comes to these chicken, I have two packs here, and this 2-pack is these chicken breasts are much thicker than these ones. And so in order for them to cook evenly, cook all the way through, make sure you're not eating any kind of raw chicken, I'm going to just basically fillet them in half, cut them in half so that they're a little thinner and they cook easier. And very similar to what I did with the potatoes, I'm going to also wash these before I do anything with them. After that, what I'm gonna do, as mentioned earlier, was I like to cook my chicken with coconut oil in the pan. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just take this pan, put it over here, and get this heating up. So I'm just gonna turn that to a medium heat to start heating that up. But also what I'm gonna do at the same time is take out my seasonings and season my chicken. So my personal favorites here, I got some lemon and garlic. That's probably my total overall favorite. So I got my lemon and garlic there, and then this one is actually chicken flavored from Mrs. Dash. I don't always use Mrs. Dash. Sometimes I like Flavor God. That's a real healthy one. I typically stick to Flavor God or Mrs. Dash, because those are the two that I found that taste the best and just have the lowest amount of sodium in them. What I'm gonna do at this same time is get out my coconut oil right here. And what you wanna do with this is make sure that you are aware of how much coconut oil you are using. 1 tablespoon is typically going to be 14 grams of fat. Yep, got that dead on. So what you want to do is basically just measure out what 1 tablespoon of coconut oil is going to look like. Now, one thing to be careful with when it comes to coconut oil is it's very acidic, so it could cause some stomach pain just from acid reflux. If that's the case, personal piece of advice here, just take a shot of apple cider vinegar. Whenever you get acid reflux, it goes right away. The thing about coconut oil is it doesn't turn to a gas and turn into, basically there are oils that when they actually start turning into a gas, they hit that temperature, they turn into they're no longer a healthy fat for your body. Coconut oil is basically one of the few that does reach that temperature and it remains a healthy fat. So that's why I like coconut oil. Also, just makes your chicken taste a little bit better. So I'm gonna let that melt down. Then we're gonna throw these chicken in there. All right, so got the pan up to a nice temperature, and what I'm gonna do now is just plop the chickens on here, and then right after plopping them on here, I'm going to move on to my rice. All right, got my chicken cooking in the back. Now it's time to cook up the rice. So this is about a probably 15-20 minute process. So I'm a little behind on my chicken, so I need to play catch up here. But I just bought a brand new bag of white rice. This is jasmine rice. This is going to be the only difference between this rice and if just, let's say you're cooking regular white rice or brown rice, is this is going to require a little more water when you are cooking it up. So what I'm going to do here is actually not use this yet, but you do want to know how much rice you're going to be cooking, and I myself am going to be cooking 4 cups of rice. So what I want to do is get a 1.5 cups of water for every cup of rice that I'm going to be having. So that's going to be 6 cups of water. So I'm just going to literally take this and just get this going. 1, 6. Now, after you got that, you want to go with 1 tablespoon of olive oil here. You can do canola oil as well if you want. 1 tablespoon, blop right in the water. And then after that, this part's optional, but you can go a pinch of salt here. And then you're going to put this on your stove top and bring it to a boil. All right, rice has come to a boil. So what's next is to measure out your rice and put the rice in. So I did 6 cups of water. I'm gonna be going 4 cups of rice here. One little mix here to get all the rice all moved around, get the oil, the salt everywhere. Yeah, throw the lid on, and we're gonna wait 15 minutes. Turn your heat down to low. After you cover up, once you put the rice in there and you cover it again, turn it to low and then set the timer for 15 minutes. Do not forget that. So now it's time to get your meal prep containers out and ready so that you can pack them all up and store them in your fridge for later use. All right, so the chickens are done. Nice and juicy. So what I do now is basically pick one of my, so I have my Tupperware out here, and I pick one of my Tupperware that I'm going to use to basically measure out all of my chicken. Also, I would highly recommend investing in some kind of scale. It's going to be a game changer, and actually knowing how much food you're actually eating and not just guessing all the time. Now we got 4 meals of protein right there, all in between 5.5 ounces to 6 ounces. All right, so also while I'm waiting for the rice and the potatoes to finish up, I'm going to cut up some avocado. So these are going to be a great source of healthy fats. So for this avocado, you just want to slice it right down the middle, not all the way through the back skin, and then slice it again on the side, just making little, just like 5 or 6 little ones. And then what you want to do is kind of outline the avocado between the skin, trying to get the bulk of it, and then it should come out pretty darn easy right into your dish. After that, I'm going to move on to the rice here. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do is measure out my rice. Now, if you guys are trying to lose weight, if you're watching your carb intake, you obviously want to be very aware of how much rice you're putting into each meal. I myself am on a lean bulk, so I'm gonna go a little more carb heavy. I'm gonna be going, like I said, for a cup per meal, which is going to be 200 grams. So I got my my scale over here. I got it turned to grams. Go ahead and load this up with rice, start measuring it out. And again, I'm not the type of person who's going to be at 210 and take out 10 grams. I'm just gonna empty that into meal number 1. Go at this again and do the same thing 3 more times. All right, so now I got my potatoes here, and you might be wondering what I'm gonna be using these for, since I just filled up my meals and used all my chicken with rice. And this is just simply going to be giving me options for my carbs over the next couple of days. So a lot of times what I end up doing is going and buying like pre-cooked chicken breast from like my Whole Foods store or something like that, and that makes it real easy to have these potatoes just ready for me when I need them to match with those chicken breasts. When I do that, I'm just going to be packing these into separate Tupperware dishes anyways. So that right there, I'm going to let them cool down before, so that they don't melt these. But basically I'm going to pack these potatoes into these containers. I'm going to have these containers filled with sweet potatoes. These containers all have about 6 ounces of chicken, a cup of rice, and half an avocado. That's 4 meals, and this was all done in about an hour. You can cook obviously way more chicken in larger quantities. Basically, when this chicken was done, you can just load more chicken onto the pan. There's still a ton of rice left. I'm obviously over, and I have extra carbs with my potatoes. So as you can see, it's not hard to meal prep. No matter who you are, you can find time to take 30-45 minutes out of your schedule throughout the week and prep different meals. That way, when Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes, you're not at work and wondering what your next meal is going to be, and you end up going and rushing to McDonald's to get some fast food, and instead you have this meal right here ready for you. This is actually a meal that I'm actually going to be eating one of these right now. I'm actually pretty hungry, but I'm actually looking forward to eating it, and I'm looking forward to having my meals just ready. It takes that stress away, takes that headache away of what you're going to be eating next for your next meal. That way you know what times you're eating, what you're eating during those meals, and it just makes it a lot easier to stay on top of it. And when you have your diet set like this, reaching those fitness goals that you have is just so much easier. Without this, you're always going to struggle to get there. So I hope this helped you guys understand the basics behind meal prepping, what to start with, what to have ready, and just what to pair it with, and just just seeing into what it's like to actually sit down and meal prep, whether you've done it a million times or you've never done it in your life before. So hope you guys like this video. If you guys are wanting more tips, tricks in the gym, in the kitchen, or just wanting a meal plan written out for you every single month, I actually have a membership site called vshred University, where it gives you a new training plan and a new meal plan based off of your body type and your goals every single month. That way you have as many different options as you want for the meals that you're going to eat, the exercises that you're going to do, so that you never hit a plateau. And then aside from that, there's a ton of content that's always being updated. And because you stuck with me throughout this entire video, it's normally $29.99, 30 bucks a month. You can check that on our store page at vshred.com. You can go look at it right now. I'm going to be giving it to you guys on this video only for $9.99 a month forever. You cannot find that anywhere else. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, you can just check it out by clicking the link in the description below this video. Other than that, if you guys like this, make sure you're clicking the thumbs up. If you have any questions about this video, if you have any video recommendations, stuff that you want me to film, leave it in the comment section. And then last but not least, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button. That way you're not missing out on any future videos. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.